In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Great wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhoon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide, Mortarian's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward, Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plagueborn sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Mortarian stands, his sons by his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The legion reborn, their fate revealed. Rise in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. The Lion's Gate, where hope was torn. Jagged-sized blade meets the Plagueborn. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plagueborn sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Typhus herald, chaos born, Mortarian's wrath, the plague sworn. I am the one, their legacy thrives, eternal servants where corruption lies. Mortarians fall, Typhus ascends, the death god song, it never ends.
Yeah, go on.
Go for it.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Discussing Resilient podcast. The Tuesday live stream has been going strong. We've got all three of us here again. Each one of us one of Nurgle's trifectas. I don't know if trifecta is the right word or not. But yeah, welcome chat, welcome people watching this later, 'cause obviously a lot of people don't watch this live. I don't know. Tell you what, we'll start with Dave this week, because Aiden's obviously got some quite exciting news, being a member of Vanguard Tactics. If people know why that means something, you know, obviously it might blew the lead, but if not, Aiden's got some exciting news on his performance as a Death Guard player. But Dave, how's life with you? What have you been up to?
Good evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Will, Aiden, love to see you both. Things are all good, thank you. I don't have to paint anything anymore. Number one, so that's a good part of my life. In more fun news, I played the. Some people might know I'm playing in a crusade at my local club, which is weird for me because I've never, even when I started playing 2,000 point games to learn to start playing. So playing a couple of 750s, and then this was a 1,500 point game. played against Custodes. My opponent had about 6 models on the table for no, we were playing 1,000 points, so he had about 6 models on the table, and I still had absolutely tons. And I had I had a great unclean one, 2 predators, 10 cultists, 2 lots of 10 cultists. Still had 6 Death Shard Terminators and an LOC, and it was table turn 2. So it was rampant win for the Death Guard, but it's been quite fun looking at the. Okay, so I've now earned some XP, so I can convert that into this, and that does this. So next week this Friday actually goes up to 1,500 points. We've had to write 3,000 point lists because in the 2 rounds time we play 3,000 points, and there's a whole narrative one of the guys has written. He's done a fantastic job. And in that list, in that 3,000 points of my whole army, is a Porphyrion. So the first time I'm going to get to put it on the table is as part of, and I've got 2 great unclean ones in my 3,000 points total as well. So yeah, I shall be putting that on the table for the first time in a couple of weeks. So yeah, apart from work as normal, that's what I've been up to.
Sounds really exciting. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I've never played Crusade myself.
No.
I have to be honest, it's not something that's ever really appealed to me. I don't think. I think it's more. I'm just finding these days I have less and less time to game. I used to get sort of two or three games in a week.
Wow.
Outside of tournaments, just sort of, it was a bit easier to do that. But I struggle now. We run the local club instead of just attending other people's clubs, and arranging games just out our team chat. It's annoying how much you don't actually get to play yourself by just making sure other people have games. But that's the way it is. So games are precious to me now these days. I really find if I've got time to play, I'd rather play 2,000 points. But talking of playing 2,000 points, Aiden, what happened at the weekend? What were you doing?
Where were you?
I mean, I was down in Coventry playing in the what is to date the largest teams tournament that's taken place. The Winter International Teams Tournament, I.T.T, hosted by UKTC. And you went down with Vanguard Tactics team, so I had myself playing obviously as Death Guard, and we had Stephen Box. Really? Oh, you're surprising, I know, right? We had Stephen Box rocking Custodes actually, but not the Dreadnought spam one. Quite a different, quite a very different build with like mass infantry. The Warden spam is not that interesting, but he took a lot of like 3-man Terminator squads as well, and like a unit of bikes. It was quite different. Then we had Ben Jones on his Marines, we had Mike Casello on his Guard Bridgehead, and we had Mike Porter on Genestealer Cult. So yeah, we went down there and we had we had goals to try and basically get a 4-1. That was the goal, and then somehow we ended up going 5-0, and also somehow ended up being one of the only 2 undefeated teams, so that means we had to play in the finals in a 6th round, which was not expecting. And we got to the very finals. Unfortunately, lost it by a single point, which is unlucky. It happens. We had to draw the round. If we would have drew the round, we would have won because of battle pointy things. But unfortunately, we didn't manage to get that there. But we're still super happy to obviously way exceed. After the 4th win, I was like, I'm done. I'm happy, boys. I've got my 4-1 goal. So to keep going.
Would have been a golden ticket as well, I assume, for the Warhammer Champs if you'd have come first. So do you get one coming second?
No, I don't get one coming second. So a little sad on that one, but we did get a nice little trophy, which is in the thumbnail for the stream. So I think cool. Stephen's obviously taken the trophy back to Vanguard Tactics HQ for display. So I don't have the trophy, but I do get one of the cool new UKTC medals, which look really
got a cool little medal.
Yeah, I don't know where I've put it. I think it's in the bedroom. I'll go grab it in a bit. I'll ask Nat the slave. To come bring
he's not wearing it to sleep, is he?
hugging it to sleep.
You know what, Aiden? That reminds me. He's on. Well, I suppose part of Aiden's local club. I don't know if he listens, but Rory, if you are watching, I do have your UKTC certificate and medal still from Nottingham, or it might even be Leicester before Christmas. So yeah, just reminded me there. I was like, I've got one of those medals too. I didn't win it though. Just looking after it for someone else. But yeah, so also before we go to chat and stuff, I do want to shout out Vanguard Tactics did incredibly well, but that's told my team Stonehammer. I didn't play on it, which is probably why they did quite good. But they came 7th out of all the teams, only losing. They were the second of the teams that lost one game. So well done, the lads.
Yeah, really good. Well done, guys.
My team as well. Yeah. When That's how I knew that Vanguard Tactics were in the the shadow round, because I got shared in our group. It was, oh my god, we've come 7th. And obviously number 1 at the top was you there, Aiden. So yeah, congrats to both teams on that. But
Yeah, definitely. And Will, did you say
on.
Stonehammer finished 7?
Yeah, they did.
Nice,
They did.
good,
Without a
good.
Death Guard player, unfortunately.
Oh.
Like if I'd have played, I'd have probably been the weak link. To be fair, we've got a couple of guys, and Andy QC now more than anything. I think he sort of politely said this because he got asked if he wanted to be on one of the England teams.
Right.
So I think he. Oh, sorry. Is that me that needs to put my volume up?
Yeah, if you could just try and put it up just a little smidgy bit if possible, mate. Just trying to shut it
no
a little bit out. That's all.
I'll do it in my settings. Yeah, so Andy isn't the only one on our team who scored points, of course, but he had been asked to be part of one of the England teams, so he sort of stayed loyal to us and did that. So
That's
I
awesome.
don't know if on future team tournaments how many of them he'll play with us, but hopefully he'll continue to do so because he's a good player, isn't he?
It's great.
And
yeah.
it's our man as well, of course.
Yeah.
Before we jump into stuff, let's catch up with the chat. But also remind the chat, if you do enjoy the content, you can hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you really like the content, consider becoming a Play Green like Mr. Phil Gagnon just did. Thank you very much. And Liz, you can give in 1 gifted membership. If you become a member, yeah, you become a member, you get to join. You get to join the Discord, which can be found. The link once you become a member is in our community tab on our channel homepage. Scroll down a few posts, see it, click the link, get on the Discord. You get access to our Plague Surge teams, get access to our giveaways, which there might be one being announced midstream at this point. So it's a way to support the channel. It's £3 a month. It's like less than a coffee. So if it's something that interests you, you want to become part of a Death Guard community, we've got a really nice community going on, then consider becoming a Plague Marine, and I would massively appreciate it. And it worked because Roger Camarera has just become a Plague Marine. Thank you so much, mate. Super appreciative. Also, speaking about 7th, and I forgot as well, so the team placing for Vanguard Tactics was obviously second, but player placing on an individual basis, I managed to take 7th place, which is Nurgle's blessed number. So out of the over 650 players there, I managed to get 7th place on a personal ranking.
Really good, man.
So I'm happy. My personal record was 5 wins, 0 losses, and then 1 loss in the final game. We can talk about that at some point if you want. So just a quick one for people who are tuning in. Tonight's not the full event recap. I normally do like an event recap stream where I go for every game, like play by play. We're doing that probably on Thursday, Friday, because that's going to be a long fucking stream. So I've got to prepare like a slideshow and all that for it, all the little bits for it. So, but we are going to talk obviously a bit about the lists and stuff tonight and how it all works. But I mean, very quick shouts as well for myself. Thank you to Sam Boardman, who's in the chat, the legend who gave me a lift down there, and then also once he found out.
This time?
No, I brought my card this time. Don't worry,
nice.
I remember my card, Dave. But when I found out I was in the shadow round, I was like, shit. I guess I'm gonna have to I'm just gonna have to not be able to play it. And then Sam was like, I'll wait. And I was like, you don't gotta wait. Yeah,
that's pretty good of you.
Sam literally waited around 4 hours for me to play 1 extra round of Warhammer. So thank you very much, Sam. Really appreciate it. And also, I managed to speak to Nathan Roberts as well. So the list that we took, the Plaguestorm list, is obviously inspired by Nathan Roberts. And he basically said that I talked to him a bit at the event about it, got some of his feedback on stuff and why he likes the annihilators, etc. But he also he'd be happy to come on, so I'm probably going to get him on some point next week. Obviously, just need time to get caught up on our own content and stuff first, and then we'll get him on to have a chat. He said he's more than happy and up for that, so that'd be really cool to get him on because he's kind of the originator of the Plaguestorm list. And I just done my little spin on it to make it my own thing.
No, that's really good. Be nice to have him on. Like I say, I briefly spoke about Nottingham, but like I say, because he was on an undefeated run, it didn't feel like there was any appropriate moment to go and sort of, can we just have a quick 10 minutes? I was thinking I might do a live recording in my phone, but when someone's on an undefeated run, you sort of feel like you probably just want to let them focus on the games. So yeah, that's great. He'll come on. I'm very curious about, like I say, how people are making Plaguestorm work, because I just don't think it clicked for me when I look back over the games that I played. With sort of like hindsight and things, I can already see a lot of the errors I made, some of them in the deployment stage. But was I to sort of play it again, I don't know if I would be able to sort of like replicate what you and Nathan have been able to do. I think for me, my play style is I like having a static army that I know what the army's doing, and it's for someone else to disrupt my play style.
Yeah.
And then when they disrupt it, I'll then respond. But if everything goes fine, then I don't have to think. Whereas I think the gun line surprised me by how much you had to sort of change your tactics, because obviously some armies are on you, some armies it's a straight shootout, some armies have got a lot more objective control than you do, and I think that's something where I'm sure with reps and practice, maybe it's like I could definitely improve with it. Whether I get to, obviously Aiden and you and what Nathan have been able to replicate. There's a guy in Germany as well, who also went undefeated on the same weekend that Aiden did. Someone sent me that list. Didn't have PBCs, but very similar otherwise. So yeah. So I don't know. Do we want to sort of? Oh, go on. I was going.
No, all I was going to add on that is I think there's a good point for it. I think the if you're new to playing what we're going to carry on calling Plaguestorm, just basically meaning a lot of hulls. I think there's a couple of core bits to it, and one is get used to your deployment is really important, because so you don't, we say it before, but so you don't traffic jam yourself, and that you know where you need to get to. If you're playing a fast-moving army, then you've got to have screening units, and you need to be willing to throw that out early to create space to unblock the car park, and then delete the stuff that wave of things that is being thrown at you and create the space. And if to your last point there, Will, if you're playing something that isn't going to come rushing out at you, then you need to be able to use those screening units to kind of start to get on the points to force your opponent to start to move around, but have pre-planned where those vehicles are going to go to get line of sight to actually start being useful. So it's you definitely can't just hop from playing an infantry-based game to playing lots and lots of hulls. It's not a straightforward move.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I didn't find I was actually car parked, to be honest. That wasn't the issue with me personally. I know I'm sure a lot of other people maybe would hit that. It was more when to spread out, when not to spread out. Like some of the games I lost, I can sort of see in hindsight now I should have just deployed in a quarter, made like a really compact car park. So it was like like a really so you can only hit so many things. Yeah, so you could only hit basically limit what you could hit on the outside, except that was going, then have a huge hit back, what to leave in reserve, what not to leave in reserve, stuff like that was where I find sometimes I was too spread out, other times anyway, without going too deep, obviously Aiden will break it down. We'll have lots of time in the episode to sort of maybe come back on sort of these specific topics.
Yeah, sure.
But should we read out a few stuff from chat, and then Aiden,
so I'm just messing with stream real quick.
The games that you played.
Then you mess with.
Yeah, I'm just messing with stream. So because we're obviously talking about it, so we'll catch up with chat, and then we'll show chat the list so they know exactly what we're talking about. So what I actually took. Yeah. And then I've just got Best Coast pairings up on screen now, so we can sort of look at some of the matchups, etc. of people. Yeah,
just run through the games that you played, and give a quick synopsis on each one. I think that would be good just for the context of this episode. And then
just so you know, Aiden, Sam said that you did bring your wallet, but your card didn't work.
It declined once. I went to pay for his food once. It didn't decline as well. He was like, I give it him to tap, and then it was like, oh, you must enter your PIN. So.
A few other comments. Phil, our newly rejoined Plague Queen, asked if you took Flyblown Host or Index, and I replied that you went PC.
Yes, I did go Plague Queen.
Yeah, loads of people just joining in the chat saying, hey, what's up, guys, and saying hi to each other. Really good. Tyler Crazy Wolf says, my wife surprised me with a huge miniature order. Got Mortarian finally. Ooh, congratulations.
Hell yeah.
Very, very cool. A nurgling shake for Mortarian.
Yeah, definitely. There was one more request for Will to turn your volume up. I think, Will, you've done that.
I've done that, yeah. It's as loud as it'll go now.
A bit of chat about
but I probably need... That'll probably also.
That might help. Just a couple of questions around how long rounds are. Warvane, hi, good to see you. And Robert Stroop, member for 6 months as a Plague Marine, says praise grandfather Nurgle. Dom says Crabstorm. Duke City Aquarium said GT coming up next weekend. A new list, excited to run it. Last one got 4-1, excited to get that 5-0. Good luck, man. Go for it, and hopefully you can get it. Then people just asking about kind of how PPCs went for you, and I'll just read out Willie V last. He's just Don Houston's answered it in chat, but don't worry. We say this all the time. There are no stupid questions in this place. Ask whatever you like. There's loads of terminology and acronyms thrown around all the time, so don't feel silly if you ask anything. He said, "What does Plaguestorm mean?" Basically,
I'll just look at the list.
Yeah, so we'll let Aiden show you exactly what it is. But as Don said, it's basically Death Guard's version of lots of vehicles. So I'll let Aiden go and explain.
So just to put more context, Ironstorm was a Space Marine list that was all shooting holes based on a particular detachment, and then Plaguestorms stole the storm bit from Ironstorm and replaced with Plague. So even more context as to what originates the name as well, not just the actual basics. So Ian, do you want to run through the list then? And then give a brief rundown, the opponents that you played, the outcome of the score, and then maybe me and Dave will quiz you on a couple of bits, and we can sort of expand into like just Ironstorm in general, so Plaguestorm in general, and what our thoughts on it are, and if it's if it's just for teams, or if you think there's a singles there, and and how you played it, what some of the bad matchups could be, and anything you'd change in the list. So run through what's probably a good place to start.
Yeah, so the list was called OPBC's How I Have Missed Ye. So I thought it was quite funny. So I only had 2 characters in the entire list. The second one is optional, but you have Mortarion, because again, he's kind of like a vehicle in terms of his stat line: 12/12, 2 up save, 4 up invulnerable, 5 up feel no pain. He also has that lovely aura of ignore modifiers and real ones. Just means that your tanks are going to like hit as hard as possible. But I also brought along a Death Guard Icon Bearer, which actually came in clutch quite a few games. That was my little tech choice that I took. That's not a standard thing you'd take in a Plaguestorm list. This is my little spin on things, and it actually came in quite well. To go with him, and sometimes not to go with him, depending, it just kind of justified me bringing a Rhino more. It was just 5 Plague Marines, so just 5 Plague Marines, 3 heavy plague weapons, 2 plasma guns, a spewer. It's just 10 OC, potentially 17 OC, which is good in a Chaos Knight matchup because you can put them on a point behind a wall. And now 2 War Dogs can't contest it. They have to put a 3rd one on it. So that's quite nice to sort of stop that happening. Because they'd need, obviously, 8 OC each. That would be 17. 8 16 is not enough. The Rhinos to carry those guys around. Then we have 3 squads of 10 cultists. Because as Dave said, screens in this one are quite actually...
Aiden, should we just tell people why the Plague Marines go up to 3 OC each?
Yeah, so...
People don't know.
So the Icon Bearer has an ability where if he's leading a squad, they get to basically add 1 to the OC of every model in the squad. So the Plague Marines would go to OC3 each, and the character himself would go to OC2. So that's 15 plus these 2, 17. Also, fun fact, I didn't know this, but the Icon Bearer is leadership 5 for some reason. So if Plague Marines are an objective, they have +1 to the leadership roll, and he's leadership 5. They're effectively leadership 4, which is stupid. Oh. Yeah, I didn't know that until I checked it. I was like,
I didn't know he was OC5.
Yeah, I looked at him and was like, why is this guy OC5? Okay, Mike Way. So I played a TTS game with Mike Way, and I originally didn't have the Icon Bearer. I had 2 5-man squads in the Rhino, but we found the second 5-man didn't really have much use, so he suggested swapping it out for like a Tallyman or something like that. We ended up going with the Icon Bearer, but he was kind of from them to mess around with those points and see what we could gain. So you're happy now, Mike Way.
Is this Mike Porter, is it?
No, Mike Way. He's one of our Discord members.
In our chat.
Oh, got you. Sorry. Yeah, I thought it might be.
No, it's
just
alright.
might be on your team.
Oh, mate. No one in Vanguard Tactics knows anything about fucking Death Guard. I can ask us
literally nothing. Aiden and I are the sole source of any interest or information about Death Guard in a really nice way.
Yeah.
They leave it to us.
So we have got 3 squads, 10 cultists. Again, these are just cheap screens. They go out early, do your actions, buy yourself some space to move. They were really good in every game. Even in the games my opponents had indirect, always just got the backup option of just shoving them in reserves. They come in. It just means when you have like containment and like stuff like that, you have a unit that can come in and do it without having to sacrifice a tank shooting. So having those cheap, trashy units to throw around is really good. Also, the Rhino came in clutch for those kind of actions as well, because you don't want your Predators doing it. I had 3 Predator Destructors, 2 of them rocking the Last Cannon sponsons, 1 of them rocking the Plague Heavy Bolter sponsons. That's been something that's been debated whether like what's actually better there. The Plague Heavy Bolters were quite good. They were very consistent. So I understand Don's reasoning. Like, it's quite consistent to put 4 damage on something with Plague Heavy Bolters, 2 to 4. Last Cannons can go from like 0 to 12 pretty easily. 0 to 14. Whereas Plague Heavy Bolters will guarantee you do something. Like, they normally get at least 2 damage to 4 damage through. And I did notice that. And then there was certain matchups when I was against like World Eaters or Grey Knights. This thing got a bead on some like 2-up save strike team. And I had Contagion on it, and then I popped Ferric Blight, and that squad just fucking vanished in a record time, which was pretty goddamn gross.
I found him so efficient with the Plague Bolters back on again.
Oh yeah, it was pretty funny. So I actually liked the inclusion of that guy there, the little heavy bolter dude. Then we had 2 fetid block drones with plague spitters, 1 fetid block drone with a heavy blight launcher, which again, absolutely love this thing. It's so
That's
underrated.
so good.
The heavy blight launcher is so underrated. The
Yeah, it's
lethal
brilliant.
hits, the lethal hits just coming in when I need. Like I shot like one game like there's a Chaos Knight, massive Night Rampage. It's on 2 wounds left. I'm just like, I spray it with 1 sprayer drone, doesn't do anything. Spray it with the second sprayer drone, get 1 wound off it. I'm like, ah. I was like, oh, shoot with the heavy blight launcher drone. I get 3 lethals. And it just falls over.
Yeah, PP2,
I was
2
like,
damage each. Yeah,
yeah,
it's done.
yeah, it's pretty good, and it's the 36-inch range on it as well. It's really nice for when I was having tank duels in like the mirror matchup as well. The opponents like bloat drones, because I did face another Plaguestorm list. His bloat drones were like doing nothing, whereas my heavy blight launch drone was not only having the duels at
Doing
range,
stuff up, yeah.
it was being able to actually put like 2 to 4 damage onto tanks, whereas his spitters would like not even getting in range because if they come out in the open, I'll just blow them away.
You know what I'd love, by the way, this just really quick aside, I would love to see those as an option on the sponsons on PBCs at 180.
That would be sick. Oh my god, that'd be gross. Then we had triple Plague Burst Crawler. Yes, they're a bit overpriced at 180 points, but in this build, it kind of works. So we had 2 with the Flamers, 1 with the Entropy Cannon, because again, I've got a Heavy Bolter guy up here, so I already felt like I had enough anti-infantry anyway, with 2 Spitter Drones, 2 Spitter Entropy, 2 Spitter Plague Burst Crawlers, plus all the Predator Destructor shooting. So I was like, okay, I'll take an Entropy just as a backup. They did really well. The indirect is still pretty nasty, especially when you get into the right targets, and or if you get like my favourite thing, which I kept doing, was the reason I brought the Icon Bearer, was just chuck the Icon Bearer out on his own, out of a Rhino. He can move 8 because he doesn't backs 3, moves 5, advance D6, slam the banner down, get a load of something in contagion that you really want to kill, hit Bio Blight, and then fire 3 PBCs at it. It kills all sorts of stuff. It was really nice. Like it held me. I managed to like kill some 8-bound that were hiding behind a wall, which was really good. Managed to basically kill scoring units pretty reliably. So I like them. And then this absolute champ at the bottom. Will, I've got to give it to you. This Carnivore, oh my god.
Told you.
This Carnivore.
Good.
So, I'll just say right now, slight spoiler alert. The first game against Chaos Knights, he bought 5 big knights. This thing claimed 3 of them.
Oh yeah. Here, they'll rely if you've got Contagion and a reroll. Statistically, the odds are on your side that you want
3
it.
of them.
Full bracket. Like you need a reroll, by the way, because you have to assume that you're going to either need to reroll 1 damage or reroll say one hit or a wound somewhere. But with that and Contagion with the -1 save, statistically you should get it on 1 activation
awesome,
with the big knight on full.
Yeah, and after speaking with Nathan Robertson again when he comes on, he'll probably tell you that more. I asked him how's he using the Carnivore, and one thing I started using after speaking to him, I spoke to him after like round 2, is when my opponent exposes like a unit to shoot one of my tanks in like a duel, or a tank that's I've put on an objective or something like that, I'll rapid ingress it in line of sight, and I'll basically say, pick your poison. I either score primary or you die to this Carnivore. And if he shoots the Carnivore, I score primary. If he shoots the primary, the Carnivore comes and kills him. So you just make it appear and be like, hello, you need to shoot me now. And it's just like when your opponent hasn't exposed all his guns because they're trying to be conservative, and they've only exposed what they thought was enough to kill that one thing. Now the Carnivore just comes and punches your head in. I had a fun Death Guard mirror where this thing got my opponent's backlines and killed 2 Predators. Just running around having a great time. So
yeah, they're very good into certain targets. There are also targets where they are a bit of a liability. For example, you don't want to put them into like Deathwing Knights or something like that.
Yeah, I tried to avoid.
You don't do the damage.
No,
Yeah.
In that one, you
vehicles.
just stand it next to them and put 8 OC on it, and then shoot it.
I tried to avoid as many 4-up invuls as I could. Although I will also say this Carnivore smacked Angron back to the warp.
Yeah, but this is
Nice.
that's exactly the prime example there, where it's like you stand. I would stand him. I mean, obviously we're going out. I don't hijack the thing. I'd stand him next to Angron. I'd shoot Angron with everything and see how many wounds are left on Angron. If everything bounces, that Carnivore just stands there and holds primary. I would never. If it was like a primary denial, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'd never charge a Carnivore to pull back Angron and expect the Carnivore to kill him and live.
I dropped Angron
there's
to
2
3,
things.
so I knew if a wound got 3, he's dead because D6 plus 2, so it's like
That's
mid.
good.
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's exactly the situation you want with the Carnivore. He's great for it, but the issue is it's a 4+ invuln thing, because the fact of the smack back, a lot of the things that have a 4+ invuln smack him back and just one turn him in response. So he's like he can punch up massively for his points,
But as
But
soon as he's in
sometimes
melee, then
sometimes it's dicey as hell where it's like this could be a unless the game hinges on I have to kill this unit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I mean, what I'll say is this list from playing, because I only had one practice game with this list before I took it. Holy crap! It shoots so hard. It hits. As with Grey Knights, he put out on these. He was going first. I was going second on take. I can't remember. I think it was taking hold. So I had primary in the bag. So on his turn 4, he just basically put. On his turn 4, he just put everything out and was just like, he's just like, right, let's see. If he can hold on, because he'd been kept on one primary the entire game from just shooting him more, challenging his objectives. So he put everything out. So we had 10 Terminators. So we had 5 and 5. One of them's got what's the big dude called? Caladrago, is it?
Yeah,
Caladrago.
Yeah.
5 Purifiers or whatever the purgations on one, and a Dread Knight on another, and I killed them all. I left one Terminator on 3 wounds.
I played Grey Knights round 1 at LVO with my tank list, and it just obliterated it in no time.
Yeah, it's good. So Robert in chat, he says, wait, the Knights can use the Contagion. You can use the Contagion because the Contagion is not a buff on the Knight, it is a debuff on the enemy. So
the Knight doesn't give out contagion.
I think he's asking the Knight giving off the Contagion.
Oh, the Knight doesn't give off, no. You just always make sure you've got something to give it. Again,
he's just using another unit to put the enemy unit into Contagion of a Death Guard unit, which changes its statistic. Then the Knight benefits from the fact that its characteristic has been modified.
Yes.
Yeah, so the main thing is the toughness there. So a T12 Knight, for example, with the 1 turn, all of a sudden you go from winning it on 4s to 3s, which is why I was saying with your re-roll, all of a sudden, because you're hitting on 2s, aren't you, when you roll?
Yeah.
So it's 5 hits, you roll the wounds. If you get 4 through with Contagion, they go straight through, and then you just roll 4 damage with 2 added each, with basically 8 on the 4 that have gone through before the dice even added on top. So like I say, it's not like guaranteed, but like the odds are on your side. Like in the sense of like it's probably like 60-70% that you 1-turn it, and normally you do, to be honest. And if you don't 1-turn it, generally it's, especially if you've softened it up first, or if you've got like something else there, you leave it so weak that it doesn't really matter, because you can afford to lose a carnivore for a big Knight or a big target. Like it's the best trade. It's the best trade. It must be the best trade in 40k that I can think of. Like 1 carnivore takes down 1 big Knight. Like I can't think of anything else where you get like a reliable, like bang for your buck, should we say? But anyway, so yeah, I didn't.
Oh, sorry, don't
know what you were saying.
No, it's fine, man. So this was the list. It takes a bit of you getting used to. You kind of need to know when to put stuff out. Like your colours like your first trade, sort of like slash screens. Your blood runs your second, then late game you're kind of like sat on primary with like a Plague Burst Crawler on the primaries and like Morty's flying around. It does depend on matchup quite a bit, but as I play it, getting more comfortable with it, it can outshoot a lot of things. And if you can get your opponent into a position where you've like managed to get rid of their scoring units first, and now they've got to put big stuff out before you do, and you get a nice big catch and kill something juicy, like the value can just escalate. Especially if they've only got like a very little amount of anti-tank and you manage to pick it up, you can just start being so disrespectful. You're just like, cool, I'm just going to try this Plague Burst Crawler into the open on the middle. You come kill it. Because half people can't kill it at that point. They're just like, yeah. And people always, every time I was like, yeah, Plague Burst Crawler's 2-up save. People were like, wait, are they? I was like, yep, look, here's the app. They're 2-up save. People always forget.
People always forget that.
Yeah, but they're really, it's quite a fun list. It grew on me. I'm not the greatest at parking lots, but I'm getting better at it now. So evidently,
after 6 games.
Yeah, surprised after 6 games in it. Zio says, did you play the PBCs as bumper cards? Totally matchup dependent, mate. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I'm probably still a bit too defensive with this list because I'm a naturally defensive player. I still need to be a bit more ballsy, and that's what that's while playing it more, gets you a bit more comfortable with it, and sort of like talking to how people play it comes in. But I do need to definitely get a bit more aggressive with it sometimes and go a bit more bumper cardsy. But there was times when I was just bumping stuff with the PVCs just because you can, and then just spray in combat. I used them as I played against World Eaters and ended up using them as like meat shield walls against the 8-bound. So because I was like doing the maths in my head, I was like 8-bound will kill a PVC, 8-bound won't kill a PVC with -1 damage. They'll drop it to like 4. but then that thing can then just fall back, and then the predators that were behind it all just blow away the unit, and then rinse and repeat. Because if the PBC dies next time, that's fine, because I'll still shoot next time. So PBCs became like meat shields in that one. I'll teach you how to be more aggressive. I'm sure you will, Sam.
The other thing about the whole the Plaguestorm list as well is you can get to a point in the game where you then just target saturate your opponent with putting everything into firing lanes, where you've got firing lanes back, and just go, well, kill what you can, but I'm guaranteed at that point to have all the rest of my guns on your list, and kind of it's done there. And you've only got to roll a few saves on PBCs if they choose those with 2-up saves and being T10, and it's like you're in a good place.
I'm just gonna pull up the old pairing, so if you have a quick sort of like recap of each game, if that's something you guys are interested in here, I'm not sure. Shall I go through that?
Yeah, why don't you?
Yeah,
Recap what the score was, and then maybe highlight a couple of like pinnacle moments in each kind of game where a unit surprised you, or even if you wish that you'd had something different in there, perhaps. Because at the end of it, I've got some questions about how vital Morty is to the build, because I'm not, we'll come with that. So run through it there, and let's talk. So what did you have for round one? So you mentioned a bit about Chaos Knights.
Yeah, so just very, very quickly for people who don't know what Teams is, people might not have an idea what Teams is. A Teams event is where you go with a team of 5 to 8 people. This was a 5-person's team event, and there is restrictions on the armies you can bring. You can only bring an army once, and that also includes if you bring them as allies. So, for example, when I brought Death Guard, no one else on my team can bring Death Guard. Because I also brought a Chaos Knight Carnivore in my list, no one else on my team can bring a Chaos Knight. Same would happen if I had a unit of Nurglings, no one could play, no one could go with a unit of Demons. So, what happens is...
Before you go too far, sorry, because there is one thing that is actually specific to us that you can do. Chaos Space means within your team can still take Plague, means it's a data sheet, not an ally. So that's just a different, because it's one of the rare things where it might link to a Death Guard player. So you can have CSM and Death Guard in the same team, both with Plague Marines in the list, because the way those indexes work, it's not an ally. The Plague Marine data sheet is part of your core army, so it's still CSM. You lose the Death Guard keyword. So yeah, that's just the only thing it's important to clarify, just with teams and what Aiden said there. Yeah.
So the other thing that matters is there is a difference in how you win games. So you can see the scores are saying 20-0. It's not about you winning the round. The rounds are still scored 0 to 100. You earn 0 to 100 points in your game as usual. What matters is the difference in points between you and your opponent. So technically, the game starts 10-10 draw. And for every 5-point difference between your score and your opponent's score, you would gain 1 point and they would lose 1 point. So if I won a game with over 50 points difference, their team would get a 0 and our team would get a 20, because their 50-point difference is 5 times 10. And that would be the point differential there. So when you see someone get 20-0, they've lost the game by 50 or more points. But if it was something like for example, a 12-8, they've only won the game by 10 points, for example. So what this means is there is a process that happens before the games happen, where your two captains sit across from each other, and you will offer the opposing team one of your armies. So let's say we put down my army. So we've offered the opponent Death Guard. The opposing team will pick 2 of their armies that they haven't already put down, because they've put one down for us. They'll pick 2 of them to fight the Death Guard. Then, me, on the Death Guard player, will look at the 2 armies they've given me, and I will pick one of them, and that is the one I will fight, and I will give them back the other card. So in a way, there's a bit of an extra layer of tactics to teams, because you have to think about pairings. Because, for example, I might be able to know I can smash this AdMech list over here, but I know I'm going to get smashed if I face this Dark Eldar list. So if my opponents put down Dark Eldar, I'm going to say to my captain, hey, don't put me down for that one, try and get me into the AdMech. So there's a bit more of a tactical level there. But saying that, there's just a bit of caveat for people who don't know anything about teams. It's just done a bit differently. And then basically, at the end of it, all 5 game scores are added together. And if your team has at least a 10-point difference to their team on the round, you win the round.
It's 5 points, I think. Maybe it was 10
10
points.
for
It's normally
UKTC.
5 points.
Yeah, normally 5,
Right.
10 for UKTC. So quite a lot of draw rounds happening. So in this one, I was against Ben. Ben was rocking Chaos Knights. He had five huge Chaos Knights with triple Rampager, a Lancer, and a Desecrator. So just 5 big ass knights, all melee, all wanting to rush down quite quickly. Which is obviously kind of intimidating. Like, my army can deal a lot of damage, but doesn't have the most anti-tank in the game. And I was given the choice between this army or like I think it was this or the Imperial Knights player they had. And I'd rather take the Chaos Knights than the Imperial Knights. I'm more scared of the Imperial Knight ones. So we put this one down. This was on Terraform, which is obviously not great because, you know, if a knight wants to terraform, it's kind of hard to stop. It's because the way I'm stopping it's killing it. I did get first turn, and the main thing that happened on this one is I had my Rhino being a screen at the front, so obviously you'd have to charge the Rhino, not get into my juicy castle. My Icon Bearer got out, advanced onto an objective. They started actioning because it was the mission where battle line units can action after advancing, so they started terraforming, and I popped the banner. The banner got one of the rampages in range that was sort of like deployed on the line, and I'd set it up so a lot of tanks can see it, and I hit Boil Blight, and I shot everything like that thing, and I dropped it to 1 wound. And then my Carnivore, who was in my castle as like working as a backline, like you said, Will, in the past, where it's waiting for them to come in so it can countercharge it. So it's not in reserves this game, it's on the board. Shot its Havoc Launcher and finished it off. So
Nice.
the little Havoc Launcher wounded on 6, he's got 1 wound through. He failed to save and it died. So I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. So Carnivore has claimed 1 kill. Now, the reason I did the Terraform of the Plague Marines as well is because it meant if the Knights want to stop me getting that, they're either going to have to stand on the objective, which is further away from my army and not be charging my army, or they're going to have to charge that squad and kill them because they don't have guns. They've got 1 Desecrator with a big laser destructor, and he shot that at a blow drone and blew it away, which is fair enough. So the Lancer kind of came down and charged, and then he put 2 other big knights on the center objective and hit the right side and just started terraforming those. Not too much I could really do about that, to be honest with you. It just kind of is what it is. But what I did have is, in my turn, I had the Carnivore come out from the backline position and go towards the center objective to charge the knight in the middle, give it some cultist support as well. And we then used Boil Blight on the Lancer that went and killed the Plague Marines, and we shot the Lancer. Didn't kill the Lancer because it actually got more wounds. I didn't realise that. Well, it has more wounds, doesn't it, than a
It's got the inward in combat. So that's the one where your Carnivore doesn't want to ever fight a Lancer in combat unless it's like desperation stakes. Like they 1 turn everything apart from stuff that has invuns in combat.
Yeah.
Like Lancers and Forge World ones.
Yeah, so I sent the Carnivore for the Rampage and not the Lancer because the Lancer had that 4 pinball, and as we said before, we kind of want to dodge that. I sent some cultists as well with the Carnivore. So what happened is I had the cultists obviously there to provide contagion for the Carnivore, and then I charged the Chaos Rampager with the Carnivore and the cultists. The Carnivore absolutely creamed it. It did like 28 damage to it. It was kind of gross. And then I used the Pilot and Consolidate of the cultists to wrap my Carnivore so it couldn't get charged.
Nice.
So my opponent came forward with a Lancer and a Rampager. The Lancer, after some shooting, he dropped on our PBCs to 8 wounds, which was sat next to Morty. And the Lancer charged Morty in the Plague Burst Crawler. The Lancer's flat 8 damage on its weapon, so he put 1 attack into the PBC and put the rest of them into Mortarion. The PBC passed its 5-up invuln, and I'm really getting what you mean, Will, about having Demon Engine invuln saves, because they came in so clutch all weekend. Like, having that backup 5-up invuln is crazy good.
Yeah, it adds up, doesn't it? Every time you eat a las cannon, it means you have to put something else into it.
Yeah.
It just keeps, it just works into your sort of your spam, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, nice.
Morty took some damage but lived. Morty then collapsed back and finished off the Lancer. Another Rampager charged down. A full health Rampager charged into another PBC. And somehow it fucking lived. I have no idea how.
Wow. Yeah, it's pretty unstatistical.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a whiff turn for my opponent. His Desecrator came into the middle. He shot his gun and killed like another bloat drone or predator or something like that. And then it consolidated. So after it charged the cultists, it killed them all, and then it consolidated into the carnivore. So I obviously let him know.
It's an odd decision.
Well, I let him know. Obviously, I was like, "Hey, if you do that, I get to swing at you," and you just like you saw what that did to the thing, the previous one, and his reasoning I kind of understood. He said, "If I don't do it, you'll just charge me anyway. So at least this way, if I survive, I'll get to swing first in the next round."
Yeah. Sometimes you got to make that call.
Which is fair enough. Unfortunately, the carnivore made sure it did not survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the carnivore's triple
If you
kill.
survive and next to nothing, and you just fall back and get shot by the army. So
Yeah, I mean, when I say that, I mean like, if you've literally got no other choice, like.
Yeah, I think he was damned if he didn't damage him at that point, just because his last turn, like
I think that.
the things he charged should have died, and they just didn't. And then we killed off the last rampage in the last turn. That was about that. I'll try and keep it a bit short because I'll go through the thingy more because I know you guys want too much time. But yeah, that was about that really. So turn 3 last night went down, but he did all right actually. Brock for the rest of the event. I think he came up with, I can't remember if he got 2 or 3 wins last. I think I was talking to him after round 4 and he was 2-2 personal record. So he still beat some people. It is scary. It's like he said, just if he got first, it would be a lot scarier because the pressure's on me straight away.
Yeah, definitely.
But he didn't get the first turn, which really helped. And I killed one on the first turn, which really helps alleviate a bit of that pressure. Round 2, I had to fight. What was it now? It was Death Guard Mirror.
Oh, yeah.
So I faced 2 Death Guard Mirrors over the weekend. This one had Mortarion. It had no PBCs, but instead it had still Triple Predator. It had 2 Brigands. And 6 Death Shroud and Typhus.
Okay.
Was this Tank that you played?
No, this is a different guy. This is a guy called Ewan.
Oh. Okay.
So it was kind of scary because it was going really well. The Carnival came in, killed the Brigand from start resist, stuff like that, and then he sent his Morty forward to get aggressive because it wasn't going well for him. And this is like turn 3. I'm going bottom of turns. I charge his Morty with my Morty after shooting it a bit. I hit all of them, wound all of them. He fails every single invulnerable on his Mortarion. I'm like, oh shit, that's 20 damage. And then he rolls his Feel No Pain and ends up taking 6 damage.
That's pretty good. That's a really dicey one, Morty versus Morty.
Yeah,
it really is. Literally dicey, isn't it? Like, there's no skill at this point anymore. It's just I'll roll my dice, you roll yours. And...
yeah, and then his Morty swung back, all hit, all wound. I failed all my invulns, and then I died.
Yeah.
I got one tapped.
Yeah.
And then
the
game...
thing is, like, Morty shouldn't kill Morty. This is my issue with Morty. He should be defensive enough where that profile should be like probably like 8 wounds is statistical.
That's all.
Maybe he's not even that.
Not even that.
But like Morty just does that sometimes. Sometimes he's a beast, and other times he's just the biggest wet lettuce.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I went from having like a really secure game to having my dice just turn off from. So turn 4 and 5, we're playing Purge the Foe. Bear in mind, I was at this point I was 30 points ahead in score, and my dice just turned. I didn't score kill unit turn 4 or 5. I couldn't kill, and I wasn't shooting hard to kill things. Like I am shooting things that I've killed easily. Like there's a Mortarion in my backlines now, and like I still was scoring, but it went from being a 30-point advantage to only being a 12-8 win. Because my Morty fucking flubbed it. But it's fine. We still got it. It was just a bit squeaky bum tight, you know.
I'll tell you what. Let's skip a couple, and we'll fill the other ones in, because obviously you played another Death Guard Mirror. Because someone I've been messaging, he's a local
tank,
and like a friend Tank. So why don't you compare the two, and then how did the two experiences sort of compare with each other, and what were the lists like?
Tank didn't have Morty, and I did. So obviously that's playing at a disadvantage because I get -1 save and all that stuff to work, and I get to ignore modifiers, and he doesn't. So we engaged in a bit of a tank battle. So Predators firing at Predators. I had the PBCs as well. He had Brigands on his side, and the way it kind of went was because I had the Icon Bearer. At one point, the Icon Bearer just got out, disembarked a Rhino, move advanced, slammed down the banner, and I got 2 of his Predators in the contagion range. Boil Blighted one of them, and then because I've got Mortarion, he doesn't, and I've got Boil Blight on him now, plus -1 save contagion. Like, I just win the tank duel. Like I just outshoot his. And because I had Morty, who's OC6. Morty basically stood on the point that he should naturally be able to hold with a bloat drone hiding behind the wall, and it kind of became really hard for him to deal with because the charge to Morty the bloat drone was like a 9-inch charge from the Terminators who started on the board. So if they failed that, they're going to be stood in front of 3 Predator Destructors. And a Plaguestorm scroll, which obviously just mean their end straight away. So it kind of just because that one finished 18-2, and it just. I'm not gonna lie, Tank also had I've never seen someone draw the worst secondaries in my life. He drew so bad. He got carded. To be fair, probably should have been like a 15-5, but he couldn't score anything at all. But in that match, it's just Morty. Morty's just the difference. Because I get to use my army rule, he doesn't. So when like I was connecting with the Brigands and stuff, the Carnivore also really helped because I had that fast moving melee pressure piece, but he didn't. The Brigands are pretty good, don't get me wrong, but like popping smoke, the odds say that one of the Brigands will drop one of the shots.
Definitely.
One of the Brigands will fail to wound, so he's only get 2 through. And with a PBC, because they got the demon save, there's a good chance I make one of those 5-ups. So realistically, I'm taking D6 damage, and that's about it. So the PBC is kind of just frontlined for me, and kind of absorbed it, and we managed to win the tank duel, and it kind of just escalated from there, really. Plus, I think I was going second as well, which obviously is good, in general, to go second.
So, what were the 2 ones that you played? Because obviously you mentioned that obviously Bridgehead was the loss in the end. So probably best saving that one for the proper breakdown video. But what were the 2?
So it was Grey Knights, the new Grey Knights one, which is just kind of comical. You just because their entire army is like just 2-up save marine bodies, and like who cares about 2-up save? So anything he put out just got killed. Even his Dread Knights, because they're only T8. I didn't realise they're only T8. So when you get them in contagion, again they go to even mortars wound them on 3s. So you can just boil blight, hit them with mortars, put them on their invul, and then each one's 2 damage, and they die quite quickly. So he played cagey, just played for points really. I got second again, which really helps. But it was a bit brutal. Those mortars just like really started hitting hard. And he could kill a predator. Don't get me wrong, he could kill my predators with his little shooting, but every time he had to bring a dreadnought out to kill a predator, because it wasn't the other great attachment which had the tricks to run away, it would just like die in retaliation. And he couldn't obviously I have like 9 equivalent tanks to his 3 dread knights, so he just couldn't keep up the prep the pace of it.
And you can't hide
them
when you've got that range of firepower and distance.
Yeah. So what was the other one then, Aiden? What was the next matchup that you played? The fifth one, I guess.
World Eaters.
You mentioned that one.
Yeah, I touched on before. It's a scary. It's touch and go. Honestly, a lot of it comes down to. It sounds really dumb. It's the battle shock test to fall back from Exalted 8-bound. If you pass it and you can just back up a Plague Burst crawler
and then just fire.
Yeah, literally everything and kill the entire squad. If you fail it, now you're in trouble, because the only melee threats you've got are the Carnivore and Morty, and the Carnivore's probably going to need to trade into Angron, which he did. But we did pass it. We used indirect. He had one big 6-man Exalted 8-bound squad, so I just indirected that with Boil Blight off a Cultist Scout just to try and chip it away, kill 2 models off it. And then the next turn, they lost like another 2 models, so like by the time it got in, even when if I didn't fail a leadership test, but if I did, it's not like having 6 guys still stood there. It was still only 2, so chances are, even if he finished off the PBC in his turn, they wouldn't be able to just go and pick up another unit. They'd have to I'd get another chance to shoot them again. And Flamers shooting in combat, bloat drones are amazing. Fallback shooting charge is crazy good for just controlling really the board. But yeah, that was just kind of typical against Wildies. Keep your screens up. Pray to God that Angron doesn't come back, because he died turn 2, so there was a lot of rolls. I think he had over the game 8 rolls to get him back, and he didn't get him back, thank fuck. But it's touch and go. We did manage to table that one just because the damage output of an army that has to get close to you is just so absurd in Contagion.
Yeah, if you can screen those kind of lists and like I said, then just fall back from it to enable your shoot, and you've just got all this row of guns lined up. It's just it is really devastating.
So I've got some questions then. So Tank, the reason I asked about Tank, so me and Tank have been we were messaging quite a lot in the run up to I.T.T, because he was asking me my opinion on lists, and we were sort of bouncing backwards and forwards with different things. I mean, what he settled on wasn't what I would have put forward as mine, but we were kind of critiquing each other, because obviously I'd played it at teams, and it was Tank who kind of alerted me to how well Nathan had done with it as well. So I'm curious as to what you think. So one of the main things that me and Tank both agreed on, and this is something where, you know, I'm not sure if you do. So what are your thoughts on Morty? Because the more I think about this list, the more I don't think Morty needs to be there. Like, I know the mirror, but I don't think you can account for the mirror. I think you just have to ignore that, because when the mirror comes. Do you think Morty was essential? Because I was thinking the conclusion we came to was it was better to have brigands. I mean, in the one that I thought, I have brigands and carnivores. It just seemed more sense to have the brigands shooting, backing up everything else. The 3 predators seemed pretty locked in. The 3 PBCs pretty locked in. The bloat drones, it's the weapons we couldn't sort of agree on, although there's like a difference of opinion on. And then, yeah, so what were your thoughts on Morty then, Aiden? Did you think that he was essential to this build, you know, or do you think more stuff?
I still think he needs to be there. Because you're already low on melee threats, like, he's still a bit of a counterpunch, even though he's not the greatest. Like, he can still punch up a lot of stuff. He can still, you know, he's still got flat damage for a weapon. It's not bad. He can still sweep attack. But the main thing that Morty's good for is, if you get missions like Terraform and stuff, you can keep your firepower going, and Morty's the guy that's doing the actions. So he's the one that's standing on a point. He's OC6, and also again, once you put, he's good for initiating the tank fight. So if they've brought tanks, you've brought tanks. Put Morty in an objective and be like, bring out your stuff, shoot Morty. He's not the easiest thing to one round in the game, especially with -1 to hit up. He lives that, and he then falls back to your tanks to provide the buff to them, and your tanks blast them away, maybe healing up a bit. But Morty genuinely won about, even though he didn't kill that much in the game, the Grey Knight game, he completely won that one.
Because they have ignore mods. Did he have that as part of his build? Did he?
No, it's just he just stood on objective, and it's like, come and fight Morty. It's like, it's not something you can really deal with. He did that in the mirror match as well.
Unless like Drago, I would.
Oh yeah, no.
Drago probably cuts Morty in half. Like,
no, Drago honestly wasn't too big of an issue. But
yeah,
but he's got to be in the build. I think he's good, but I don't know if he's in every Grey Knight build. He's just, because the way he interacts with the demon keyword is a bit OP.
Yeah, the 2 anti-demon. Yeah, it's a bit annoying. But no, I think Morty's still worth his weight in gold. Again, just having him in the carnivore to be like your backline punchy stuff, and then when you need something to just be tough and exist on a point, you can just slime on it. And if you really need to, like, there's certain matches where you just need to go and pressure their natural, and like you can just send him with the 3 bloat drones, and they just go off and do the thing, and keep harassing the point to stop the opponent's primary. And I think if he's not there, like, I shot everything that came in the open. I shot to death. If I'd have brought brigands, I'd have just had guns sitting around doing nothing. Like, I would rather have a second carnivore than I would brigand.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what I think on this as well. So when I took a gun, I took a Plaguestorm list basically to LVO, and I didn't take Morty, and I didn't miss him. Now that's a different environment, and it's not UKTC, and perhaps Morty would have been more useful there, but that's the price of Morty. As cheap as he is 2 predators and another unit, pretty much.
Do you know what, Aiden? This is a really simple way to put Morty, because I think this is how I think. Morty or 3 carnivores. Because you could just drop Morty and have 3
in
carnivores.
this list.
Yeah, like
Morty.
You know, if you were gonna, so let's okay.
It's still Morty. Carnivores do one thing and die, which is great.
Yeah, I wouldn't put 3. I think if you're running guns, you need guns. Like,
I mean, yeah, this is just an example to sort of like, because I think the thing with Morty is it's what else do you put in, isn't it? I think like
I took a Land Raider, therefore I didn't need predators with las cannon sponsons. Because I had 4 las cannons sat on a predator, and I know that's not as flexible in terms of 2 predators in 2 places with 2 las cannons in 2 places, but that meant that I then had 3 predator destructors and 4 las cannons and an extra plague heavy bolter, you know, and an extra havoc launcher and something to put troops in if I needed, and a T12 hull that behind cover with smoke with a 2-up save was still very, very, very hard to kill, and had 4 OC to park on stuff and a big movement. Not saying that's the solution, but that's an example of a unit you swap out and gives you the firepower and gives you even more firepower, and you're not dropping guns for it. But I totally agree with you, Aiden, like all the stuff, all the good stuff he gives.
I think
and
the main
the way that he gives you that play to.
I think it's
to
ignoring mods in it. So I think it's
yeah,
how much
the main thing to
value
look at it
you put
is
in that.
Marty gives you the tools combined with Contagion to win long range fights, because if your opponent doesn't get to ignore -1 to hit and -1 to cover, like that's a big hit. You're now hitting on 4s. You're basically -1 to all your AP. And then on your side, when you're shooting back at them, you're getting to ignore all that. You can Boil Blight to remove cover, whilst also dropping toughness, whilst also dropping save, and now you're also reeling ones to hit wound. It just means it's really hard to fight that in like a one-on-one gun shootout, and I think Morty's one of the reasons for that. And if someone does want to come close and pressure, Morty's like little Moff. It's like I'll just float over there, boys, and deal with that for a bit. I found him really useful. I really liked him, and I probably would keep him in there. I don't think I'd drop him from. I think that the 1 Carnival was great. I'd maybe try and find a way to get 2 in if possible, but 1 does its job perfectly fine. And I think right now this list could maybe be played with a little bit, but I don't think you need to play around with it too much. And also, just very quickly for Peter Johnson, I don't think this is the only way you can play Death Guard competitively right now. I just think this is one build. There is still like playing like other builds. This is a very specific teams build. Don't know how it would do in singles. I might try it at Manchester, but the meta is about to change quite heavily with Guard and Eldar. And I'll be honest, I'm not gonna lie. It looks like a good time to take a break from competitive for a month or two. I'm not gonna lie, from what I've seen this weekend, because Bridgehead is kind of oppressive, and it's about to become even better. 10 Scions put Morty to 1 wound on his own.
Yeah,
10 Scions.
This is the other reason why because obviously in teams you've got to remember, like you've had matchups. Hopefully not where, I mean, sometimes in teams you have to. There's a sacrificial lamb player where if there's one army that no one feels confident into, but the other people on your team think they can 20-0 every other list, someone has to, you try and play the sacrificial lamb and go try and get a point. It doesn't matter because it's the other 3 games are going to counteract your 20 if that what happens. But sort of that, in less of those occasions in teams, generally you'd be put into something where you're at least sort of confident or whatever. But like you mentioned, Bridgehead, there's a lot of stuff out there now where, like I give the Carnivore example before, how the Carnivore just makes its point into a big night, where Morty is just like, I mean, I didn't realise Scions could do that. I don't know if that's statistical or he just got hot dice or whatever. But I mean, like...
Oh no, that wasn't statistical, because they did that, and the next 2-3 turns, each time one of them went up and down, it killed a PVC for full.
Killed something.
With overkill.
Yeah.
Like, easily. It's just like...
I mean, that's because my experience was Morty just got 1 turn so comfortably by a Vindicator. Like when I played Oath and Moment Space, it was just like, it was almost like Morty had hit him, because obviously Morty, if he hit the Vindicator first, kills it. But as soon as he had to push in the game I played against Space, because he was down on the points, but he could pull it back in his final turn, and he went for his big push and he pushed, and yeah, Morty just died so easily when he was out. It was kind of like, it was a bit eye-opening to sort of, he's not that durable for 300 points into certain stuff. So Bridgehead, it sounds like they're another one, which is why I'm in my list. I've dropped him, to be honest. I just don't think his damage output, and I think his durability is not there. I'm thinking, because when I'm equating some of the questions I'm asking, I think you're right. When you think of the team, I'm thinking about how would you translate it to a singles environment, and what would the changes you'd make it to make it a singles list. So if you're quite confident on keeping everything the same, obviously the result you've had shows that there's good reason for that.
We'll find out in a month's time at Manchester.
Yeah, there you go. Because that's why I alluded to it. I don't think I played it very well. So my experiences and my changes are probably like, they might be flawed. Do you know what I mean? I might be sort of like trying to overcompensate from a deployment error by weakening the list to try and like help me overcome playing it badly, if that makes sense, which might be a silly thing overall. So, but I don't know, like what the other option is, well, the other question is what guns did you think? So say the bloat drones. I mean, I found the spitters on the bloat drones so wildly like up and down, but then one Overwatch threat to throw in the middle would be quite useful. Do you think you would stick with the heavy blight launcher? Would you put heavy blight launcher in all three now you've tested it, or do you still think a mixture? I think that's the other big question that would be interesting to sort of to break down just for a minute. Then obviously we'll wrap this up for you to do the deep dive in a few days.
I'd probably keep it the same, to be honest. The flamers are still really useful for controlling stuff and for killing like deep strike and just being annoying. The blight launcher, like, it's nice to chip away and it is helpful, but I've already got enough things shooting down range. I need stuff to push aggressively, and the flamers just do probably a better job of that. So I'd probably still keep the 2-in-1. And flesh mowers, I just don't like flesh mowers.
Okay, yeah. I was just about to ask, would you consider a flesh mower? Because when I play, that was one of the things I found what I wished I had, because I wished I had a counter charge. Something that could kind of, like, you know, if something got tagged, that could kind of go cut it free. But again, I think I might be overcompensating for errors I made where that situation just probably shouldn't have occurred in the first place, kind of thing. If I'd positioned it better, you know, it wouldn't be, Plague Burst colours wouldn't be getting wrapped by gene stealers and stuff like that. But yeah, do you have any questions, by the way, Dave? So anything that you wanted to sort of ask or a question about the list?
No, I mean, the thing is, I've been playing kind of heavy whole list on and off for a while, so I'm kind of quite happy with it. I think there's, and I just was interested to see what your thoughts were, Will, and what your questions were, to be honest, because I think I like this, and I think I will play at my next event. I'm probably going to take a very similar list I took to LVO, because I had the Plague Blast, I had melee, I had screening units in terms of cultists, I had lots of las cannons, loads of predators for long range shooting, and a couple of PBCs. I think I would. So it's been interesting hearing a few about what, how Aiden's found it, how you found it. So I think there's a couple of things. I definitely am going to stick a Defiler in to one of these lists at some point to give it a go. I need to give it a go. I need to properly have a play with it.
I've got one. I wrote the version of this two Defilers kind of after speaking to
Yeah. I think it's really worth doing.
I'll share it in the chat. You can critique whether you think.
Yeah, man, do. And I want to stick an LOB, and then I want to stick an LOB back in the list. Just for, you know, with the fact that with the Definers, with the PBCs, and get that synergy off on that front. So yeah, I was just really interested how Aiden played it and how it went. I'm just obviously pleased you had such great result and brilliant work by you and the team. So well done again, mate.
Cheers, man.
Nice.
Like I said, I'll do a proper like game by game breakdown later on the week for people to check that out. So if you are interested, stay tuned. We're going to wrap up about now, because people have got some plans and stuff. But a very quick answer to someone in chat who asked, how hard is Death Guard to play compared to other armies? It's one of those. It's easy to play at baseline, especially in casual games. It's hard to play competitively, but it's only hard to play because you can't react to stuff as easily as other armies. You have to learn a macro game, which is something a lot of armies don't have to learn because they're just so fast and can be wherever they want. So you have to learn how to plan ahead and do things like that. But if it's an army that interests you, the more question I'd ask you is, do you like the look of Death Guard? Does it appeal to you? Does it look fun? And if it does, if any of them are yes, then go for it, because you'll just learn how to play it as you play it. Like, it's not like an impossible skill ceiling maximum 9 million IQ required.
No.
But there is more nuance to it than you might think upon. It's definitely not stand out in the open and take shots. You cannot do that.
Death Guard is the 40k is one in the movement phase predominantly, and Death Guard is slow. So if you need to, like Aiden said, you need to basically think ahead. You need to be really clear on what it is you're going to achieve and where you're going to go and how you're going to use it, and you need to really understand what each unit does. And if once you kind of have that grasp, you kind of can play the game. But yeah, it's not a. Yeah, like I said, you can't. It's not so durable that you can just stick it out in the open and go, I'm just going to tank everything and it's fine. And you'll find that, you know, if you play it on the basis of, I'm just going to try and make charges everywhere, and you don't, then you lose.
I think one thing to add to that with Death Guard is, at the moment, obviously this is a statement that lasts probably only for a few more, possibly only for a few months. You can kind of build your own adventure with Death Guard a lot better than you can with other armies. Like we've talked about this episode a lot about Plaguestorm, the whole spam, and how that's doing well. I think I'm going to go back to 30 Plague Marines jumping out of Rhinos. Nice. Because I think that's where I might even do a Poxwalk at Plague Marine episode, because I haven't done one for a while. Just recapping last year and just kind of all the list, because I started doing really well and was pushing the 4-1s and kind of started to believe this was happening. And then I got caught in the trap of trying to chase the Death Guard meta, shall we say? Oh, this is really good. And everyone's spamming, everyone's spamming Death Shroud. Have to spam Death Shroud, and trying to change the list. I was convinced there was something better every time. But every time the list might have been better, I never replicated those same results as when I had 30 Plague Me's jumping out of Rhinos with Carnivores and Predators.
It's never been your preferred play style, right?
Yeah, so I've come to the conclusion, the realization. If I'd have just stuck with that list, I probably would have had a lot more success instead of part of me wants to sort of keep going with Plaguestorm and keep changing, but I'm gonna do what I did with the Death Shroud. I'm just gonna do it for way too long and end up just sort of nosediving a little bit as the build moves further and further away from where the meta is. I'm trying to force a square into a circular hole is probably the best example. So yeah, I think the point I'm trying to make is it's a good army because you can find your playstyle and you can write a list that matches your playstyle. Whereas some armies, the playstyle is like World Eaters.
Metal is,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best summary. Is there anything else in chat that we wanna touch on before we wrap things up?
That's about it at the moment. I would just keep the Icon Mirror at 1 for Necros. I'd just keep it at 1, don't need another one. But I mean, like I said, I'll cover a lot more of these questions and stuff on the event recap. What we'll do for now is we shall wrap up this one. So anyone got anything last to say? So again, do a quick reminder, if you do enjoy the content on this channel, please leave a like, a comment, or a subscribe. Even hit the little bell notification. It just helps as the channel grow. We're almost at what now? We're at 8.7k.
Almost 8.7. Yeah.
Almost 8.7. So at 10k, I have to eat cheese. And I hate cheese, so that's going to be funny. So we have that to look forward to. So let's keep the channel growing, guys. If you want to be part of the amazing community, consider becoming a Plague Marine as well. Again, £3 a month gets you into the Discord, gets you into all the community, and we get all the giveaways, etc., etc. So do consider that if that's something that sounds interesting to you. Also, we have our music up on Spotify now. I will Slave. Hello, Slave. Welcome to the room. Please, can you put the link in the chat? I would appreciate it very much. Thank you, Slave. I'm getting punched. The Spotify one, if you could.
Just to interject in before we go too far with it, because you mentioned our fantastic community and how this channel has grown bigger than anything we ever expected when we started it, probably only about 2 years ago. So it sounds crazy to think how much it's grown. We want to thank the community, and we also would like to help get our community to kind of help with the charitable cause that we're doing. So Dave is painting up a plague surgeon, as people may or may not know, and we're gonna
the only model Dave has ever painted.
And tell what, Dave, you outline what's happening, because you're probably if it comes to the horse's mouth, you'll make sure I might bodge it up basically.
No. So I basically, when we got to 8, basically I said I'd paint a model, and everyone who's part of the community knows, but Tyler is kind of maybe you're newer, or anyone else who's newer. I don't paint anything, and I said I would paint something as one of the forfeits. As Aiden said, at 10k he's got to eat cheese, so this was my eating cheese, I guess. So I bought some paints, I got them delivered, and I painted a plague surgeon. So there's some. Here he is, which you can see. So hopefully didn't do too horrible a job, but as it is the only model I'm ever going to paint, it is a true one of a kind. And what we'd like to do is, thanks Brock, but I won't do it. This has to be a one-off. What we want to do is we're going to set up a GoFundMe page so that none of us it's not involved in any of our accounts or anything like that, and we'll choose a charity. It could be a Help the Homeless charity. It could be we'll have a look and put a page up. We'll share a link, and then if anybody wants to donate any amount, like from don't go mad, but if you've got like $1 or £1 or €1 or something you want to donate to it, it'd be really great if we can just try and raise a bit of money for a nice cause. And then what I'll do is I will then post this plague surgeon to that person, and it is a one of a kind from the DRP team, and the first one I've done, and just as a nice way for us to try and get something back.
So So is this like everyone who donates then? Is it like a lottery?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like a
exactly. If you all donate into it, we'll just randomly choose
It's
somebody.
not, it's not an auction. That's what I. That's what
No,
I
no,
wanted
no,
to
no,
know.
no, no. It's no, it's not an auction at all. We'll just sorry, yeah, that's a good point. We'll ask Nat to just randomly choose somebody, and that person will win the only miniature that Death Guard Dave will ever paint.
There you go. We'll get a random generator or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably
We'll put a post into the YouTube community tab, which will be in there, and we'll also drop it into the Discord so everyone can be clear on what it is. We'll put the same message in both places. But if anyone can contribute, that would be really great. It's a mix of a bit of fun, but also trying to use it to do something nice and charitable.
Yeah. We can probably also throw in some Disgusting Resilient goodies with it as well. Maybe some dice or a T-shirt as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good thing to do, and obviously, we'll talk a bit more about it over the coming episodes as well, because it's something that will obviously run over a period of time to let everyone have a chance to comment. Yeah. But yeah, so before we go, then obviously I've talked a lot about my strugglings with Ironstorm or Plaguestorm. Where might I go to get better at using Plaguestorm? Who could help me improve with this kind of build?
Well, if you look on the screen at the moment, Will, you'll see that at number 7, Aiden's Valley, Vanguard Tactics. It's like it's meant to be. If you head on over to those guys' page at vanguardtactics.com or on YouTube, search Vanguard Tactics. More importantly, there's a referral link in our description on the videos. You can get access to masterclasses, academy, learn to play 40k, upskilling, 40k options. They have free battle reports, and they're a great channel. Go over there and subscribe. Aiden and I both play for them, and it's just a good place of. It's all driven by sportsmanship and just being a good opponent. So go check those guys out. But as always, in order to play the game, like Will, if I did paint something else, if I was going to paint another model, like where would I go and buy one?
There you go. We're affiliated with Element Games, which is somewhere I also do some part-time hours, and we get a few people coming in the chat saying they bought stuff from me. So if you are buying something, just say you listen to the channel. I'm always happy to speak, unless there's obviously a queue of people. It's not my main job. It's just a hobby job, really. But you can use the affiliate link to shop there. Anything you buy doesn't cost anything more. Do it on the website as normal. You still get all your crystals and all that kind of stuff. We just get a little kickback. Helps keep the channel going. Keeps us in models, I guess, especially with the codex coming. You might make sure that we all get a codex each. But also, Aiden, as I say, I'm always trying to improve at the game and looking to get new things. So sometimes I might get so overwhelmed that I lose track of how big my contagions are or how to track them. Are there any contraptions I could get to help me with such a dilemma?
You can check out our friends over at Saltire Games Etsy page in the link in the description below. Use promo code NERGL, you get 10% off your order. They sell stuff like Contagion Ranger markers, Deep Strike markers, Infected Objective markers, all that useful little tools, and some of them are even branded as Disgusting Resilient Podcast logos, so you can go check them out there, which would be awesome. We will do more Hobby Hangout streams because that was really funny last time. We will do more of them. I promise you I will do a plague surgery some point this week. Sorry I've fallen behind it a bit. There's just been tons to talk about, the I.T.T. and all this blah, 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 blah. You know how it is. Unfortunately, this is not my full-time job. I do have a job on top of this, so trying to balance everything can get a bit hectic. We try our best, but for now, we're going to wrap up. We're going to let Dave go. Dave, apologise to Mrs. Death Guard Dave, please.
Right.
On my behalf, it's my fault bad. But for now, everyone, stay rotten, guys. Take care. We'll leave you some music.
Like and subscribe.
I'll leave you some tunes on the way out. And again, you can also check the Spotify. Oh, by the way, there's 9,600 monthly listeners on our Spotify music, but only 8.7k subscribers. You bastards! You listen to my music, but you no subscriber to my channel. You breaking my soul.
If you don't subscribe to the channel, then no new music will get added.
Hey, well, if you don't subscribe to the channel, Aiden will do more of that accent. So get subscribing, guys.
Take care, everyone. Catch you later.
In the next one.
In the shadow of decay I rise, Typhus the herald beneath poison skies. With Nurgle's rot I lay worlds to waste. The Reaper's scythe, no life can escape. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with the twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of Death God where this blood flows. and I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, what consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth. Carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth, I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Noble's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth. Carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth, I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Noble's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. Language howl, the gushing walls. Pestilent tides, new life is born. Noble's policy, a twisted place. I erase your heart in my golden embrace. Fear the plague fleet, fear the end. No salvation, no let to defend. I am Typhus, reaper of dread. Bow to Nurgle, embrace the dead.
From the shadow depths of a broken hive, corpses twitch and come alive. This crimson plague, it feeds on fear as the bodies drop and it draws me out. My skin is crawling, something's inside. Internal organs liquefied. Death God's gift, a twisted fate. No escape from me, yeah, it's too late. No go comes, accept your fate. It won't stop. The hive's infected, it's too late. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive will consume when it's sick disease. Our souls corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking pox now takes its bite. The walking pox now takes its bite. Run the rod, run the rod. Walking pox now takes its bite. Lungs are burning, pox fills the air. You scream for help, but no one cares. Bones are breaking, bodies swift. The Death Guard's gift, death's toxic kiss. Pale-eyed stare with a hollow glare. They're gone but shambling, lost somewhere. This hive is his, disease and bloom. No light survives in this darkened tomb. Then go comes, accept your fate. And won't stop. The hive's infected, it's too late. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive will consume when it's sick disease. Our souls corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking pox now takes its bite. The walking pox now takes its bite. You'll feel it settle deep inside. There's no cure, nowhere to hide. You breathe me in, you can't escape. I am the plague, I am your fate. What can you feel it in your bones? This is where it now goes home. No mercy here, you're out of time. Your final breath is that last line. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive was consumed by the sick disease. I'm so corrupted, can't run, can't fight. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive was consumed by the sick disease. Our souls corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking box now takes its bites. The walking box now takes its bites. From the skies we come to claim our prize. A world infected before your eyes. We are the rod, we are the end. The death god's mercy is death again. Watch it all decay, falling